Just a minute, I guess there is some technical problem. Yeah. Very good afternoon to all of you. Today morning we started with the topic statistics. So before we go ahead, briefly I will tell you what we do in statistics. First step, we need to collect the data. Once you collect the data, you need to organize or arrange that data so that we can make some observations or draw some observations, and these observations will be helpful us to draw some conclusion or to take some decision. Now, as I told you, you can collect the data from different sources, but which are the ways to present? There are some graphical ways to present the data. Along with that, there are some measures which will help you to draw some conclusions. So one of the parameter for the data analysis is mean. So we will start with the mean. So morning we discussed about central tendency with example, and we saw that if you have a score in different subjects, for example you have 5 courses, and in each score you got 80, 82, 84, 86 and 90. So the average will be around 85, 86. So the mean value or the average will be at the center, and all the individual scores will be very close to the value of the mean, that is 85, 86. So this is called as central tendency. And to measure central tendency, we can use mean, median or mode, and we will start with mean value. So mean is the simply the arithmetic average of the data points. For example, if you have number of observations, then you will add the values associated with each observation, and you will divide it by total number of observation. And as I mentioned, the mean is generally denoted by a sigma mu. So different books you will find different notations, but I recommend you to stick with the notation mu for mean. Now there are different data sets and different formulae that can be used for calculating the mean. So let us start with computation of arithmetic mean when individual observations or ungrouped data is there. So suppose a sample consists of n data points, x1, x2, x3, x4 up to xn, and these are the individual observations. So if such individual observations are there, then in that case, sample mean, that is mu, is calculated by the ratio of sum of all the individual observations divided by total number of observations. So x1 plus x2 plus x3 up to xn divided by total number of observations n. And in simplified version, it is summation I is equal to 1 to n xi upon n. So this particular formula can be used to calculate the arithmetic mean when we have individual observations. For example, these are the data points given with us, and you are asked to find out the sample mean. So simply we take the arithmetic mean, and it is divided by total number of data points. So in this case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 data points. So sum divided by number of data points. So answer is 28.8857 kilometer per liter. So when we get the value of mean, it is very essential to put its unit as well. So this is the first way to calculate the arithmetic mean when individual observations or ungrouped data will be with you. For example, the percentage that you calculate for your semester wise marks. So that is also a case of individual observation. Second case is a discrete frequency distribution. So this is the type of data available with us, and for that we will try to calculate the arithmetic mean. So suppose we have variables x1, x2, x3 up to xn, and each variable occurs with frequencies. For example, x1 occur for f1 times, x2 occur for f2 times, x3 occur for f3 times, and so on. So for each value there are some frequencies. So if this is the case, then we calculate the arithmetic mean by using this formula. That is x1 f1 product of these two plus x2 f2 plus x3 f3 up to xn of fn divided by total number of observations. So total number of observations means sum of the frequencies. So this is the slight modification in the previous formula, because in previous case individual observation was there, means x1 was observing only one time, x2 was observing only one time. Now here in this case every observation is observing in frequencies f1, f2, f3 up to fn. So this is the modification or modified formula. Now we will take one example. So here you can see the number of calls and its corresponding frequencies are given to you. So 0 calls, the frequency is 10. 1 call, frequency is 21. 2 call, frequency is 35, and so on. So in this particular table, the values of x1, x2, x3 are given to you along with the frequencies. So this is the value of x, and corresponding frequencies are given to you. So we discuss how we go ahead. We calculate x1 f1, x2 f2. That is just the take the product of the x value and corresponding frequency value. So same thing we did. So 0 into 10, answer is 0. 1 into 28, answer is 28. 2 into 35, answer is 70. So this is how you need to prepare another row where you will get the product of x and corresponding f value. And once you prepare the last row, just implement the equation that we derived for discrete frequency distribution. So you can see 0 plus 28 plus 70 plus 135 plus 260 plus 260 and so on. All the values we take its sum and divided by the frequencies. So 10 plus 28 plus 35 plus 45 plus 65 and so on. So we take that ratio, and when you take that ratio, upon simplification you will conclude that you will on WhatsApp number you will receive 3.8942 calls. So around 4 calls will be received. So this is how we can calculate the mean. We will go to next case. In this case, we will see how to calculate arithmetic mean when continuous frequency distribution will be there. So when the frequencies corresponding to entire class, the arithmetic mean is given by. So when you look at this particular formula, then this formula is similar to that of discrete frequency distribution. Formula is very same, but only one word changes there, that is entire class. So this class is very important, and when we take the example you will understand what do you mean by class. And here xi means the mid value of the class interval. So this particular class and class interval will differentiate between the continuous frequency distribution and the discrete frequency distribution. So let's take one example to see how it is different from discrete frequency distribution. So the example is compute the arithmetic mean for the following data. So you can see here, instead of a single value, a range is given. So between a 0 and 10 marks, 5 students are there. Between 10 and 20, 10 students are there. Between 20 and 30, 25 students are there. Between 30 and 40, 30 students are there. Between 40 and 50, 20 students are there. And between 50 and 60, 10 students are there. So when we look at the marks, then instead of individual value, there is a class interval. So that change is there between discrete and continuous. When we say discrete, individual value will be there or single value will be there. When we talk about continuous, there is a chance that a range will be given to you. And if this range is there, then what we decided, we will take the mid value of class interval. So for each interval, we will take only the middle value. And you can see the marks row is modified to mid values and it is called as xi. So 0 to 10 mid value is 5, 10 20 mid value is 15, 20 30 mid value is 25, and so on. You can see how we can prepare this particular row as xi values. Then next step is same. We need to find out the product of x1 x2 x1 f1 x2 f2 x3 f3 and so on. So you can see the product of 5 into 5 is 25, 10 into 15 is 150, 25 into 25 is 625, then you can see 750, 900 and 550. So these are the values we calculated for fi xi. Again, once you get all these values, you need to put all these values in equation, this particular equation. So x1 f1 25, x2 f2 150. So similarly put all the values divided by the sum of all the frequencies. So you can see frequencies are there. So take its summation. So that will be your answer, that is 100. So simplify this and answer will be 30. So you can say that for a given class, the average score made by the student is 30 marks. So this is the mean of the class. We will take our class example. We have 4-5 subjects. For example, your attendance for NSM is, let's say, 50%. The attendance for heat and mass transfer, let's say 60%. Attendance for design of machine element, let's say 55%. Then when we take the average of all the attendances, then you will get overall average of the attendance, and we call it as your attendance, and that is reflected in your attendance monitoring report 1, 2 and 3 and so on. So this is a good practical example where we calculate arithmetic mean, and based on the value of mean we decide whether you are defaulter or not. If your attendance is above 75, you are not considered as defaulter. But if your attendance is below 75, you will be a defaulter. So this is how we can make use of this. Okay, so these are the 3 types of arithmetic mean, where individual observation, discrete frequency distribution and continuous frequency distribution we discussed. Now we will move to median. Now, why should we go for median? Because mean is one of the central tendencies. Say I gave one example in the morning. I will repeat the same. For example, there are 5 subjects in a given semester. In subject number 1, you scored 80. Subject number 2, you scored 90. Subject number 3, you scored 85. Subject number 4, you scored 88. And in subject number 5, you scored only 40. So what happens when you take average of all these 5 subject marks, then your average will be somewhere 70 or 75. And why? Because of that only one subject in which you scored 40 marks only, and it will reducing the average. So this doesn't mean you are a bad student or your average is less. That 40 marks may be due to you may be sick for that paper, right? Or during exam something happened, because of that you couldn't score in that individual subject. And that's why every time we cannot rely on mean value. And that's why government may say instead of 5 we can come up with best of 4. That is the 4 subjects out of 5 in which you scored good marks, we will take average and we will assign to you. So that's why every time I'm saying, every time you cannot rely on me. We will take one more example. Let's consider two values, 5 and 5. So its average will be 5. Let's consider two values, 6 and 4. Its average is again 5. Let's take another example, 7 and 3, average is 5. Let's take another example, 2 and 8, average is 5. So you can see the values are far away from each other, but ultimately you are getting the middle value, that is mean. But when we say 5 and 5, mean is 5, so that is a good indicator or good observation we can make. So these are the examples that will tell you that blindly you cannot rely on the mean value. Now we will go to median. So you can see the definition of median. So median is the middle value when the data set is arranged in ascending order. So mathematics point of view, it is very simple. That is, median is the middle value of the distribution. It divides the distribution into two equal parts. So let's take one example. If income of 5 persons is 2500, 3000, 3500, 5000 and 7000, and in this case the median value is 3500. What we did, we arranged the values in ascending order, and this is the center value, because on left side there are 2 values and on right side there are 2 values. So middle value is 3500. So we can call this as a median value. Now for different cases, different approaches are there to calculate the median value. So first, when the data is of qualitative type, then how will you calculate its median? So answer is very simple. When the data is qualitative type, the observation in that data are arranged either in ascending or descending order, just like this example. You just arrange in ascending or descending order, and based on its quality you need to make that arrangement. And then median is that observation or quality which is exactly at the center of the data. For example, the quality of a product, you can say below average, average, good, very good or best. So we organize the quality parameters in ascending order, and the middle thing is good. So we can say that good is the median value. And especially when we cannot express the data in quantity and we express in terms of quality, just like in this case. So in that case, we can rely on median value instead of mean, where mean is difficult to calculate, so we rely on median. Let's take another example where individual observations are there. Now we will be talking about quantitative data, and here we will be dealing with individual observations. So when individual observations, let's say x1, x2, x3, x4 up to xn, these are the n observations. Then how will you calculate the median for this case? So first of all, you need to arrange the data in ascending or descending order, because whatever data you are collecting, it may not be ascending or descending order. So first of all, arrange them in ascending or descending order. After organizing, check whether the total number of data points are even or odd. If it is odd, then the value given by n plus 1 upon 2, that observation will be your median. For example, these are our observations. So how many data points? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 data points are there. So we arrange the data points in ascending order. After arranging that, you can see 4 is at the middle. On left side 3 values, right side 3 values. So it is exactly at the center. So we can call it as a median. Or you can apply this formula and you will get the value, that is 4. What if n is even? So when n is even, then there will be 2 values at the center. Let's say n by 2 and n by 2 plus 1. These are the 2 values will be at the middle. And in this case, you need to take their average, and that will be considered as median. For example, these are the data points. So you can see here only 4 data points. So these are the 2 values in the middle. You cannot say 10 is median or 12 is median. So what you will do, you will find out these 2 values. So I'm sorry, I guess this should be 10 and this should be 12. So these are the 2 values in the middle. So we took their average. So 10 plus 12 divided by 2, answer will be 11. So correct answer is 11. So for this particular situation, your median will be 11. What we did, we identified 2 middle values and we just took their average, and that will be considered as median for individual observation when n is even. Now the third case is median for discrete frequency distribution. Again, step 1 will be in discrete frequency distribution, as I mentioned, just like mean. X1 observed for f1 time, x2 observed for f2 time, x3 observed for f3 time, and so on. So final value xn will be observed for fn times. So these are the discrete frequency distribution. And what we do, we compute a less than type cumulative frequencies. This step is very important. So first one will be f1, next value will be f1 plus f2, third value will be f1 plus f2 plus f3, and so on. This is how we calculate the less than type cumulative frequencies. Once we do it, we calculate the value of n, that is total number of data points, and which is equal to summation of fy, that is frequencies. And if this is odd, then what we do, we look out the class corresponding to which cumulative frequency is greater than equal to n plus 1 divided by 2 for the first time, and that value of x is considered as median. So your first value will be x1, your second value will be x1 plus x2, third value will be x1 plus x2 plus x3. That will be third value. So this is how you prepare the values, and then you calculate the value of n, and if the n is odd, then you check the cumulative value. The cumulative frequency is greater than equal to n plus 1 upon 2, and when for the first time, and that particular x is the median. If n is even, then what you will do? You will find n by 2 and n by 2 plus 1. Then look again at the classes corresponding to which cumulative frequency is greater than or equal to n by 2 and n plus 1 by 2 for the first time. And when this is the case, then what we do? We calculate the median by taking the average or arithmetic mean of these two values. And in very rare cases, these may be two different values. So these are the very rare situations where we need to go through this. Again, for group frequency distribution or continuous series, so in previous slide I didn't take example. Here also I may not take example, but we will take one general example where you will understand mathematically how it works. So when grouped frequency distribution is there, and in that case compute less than cumulative frequencies, then calculate n by 2, where n is equal to summation fi. Then locate the median class if and it is the class corresponding to which cumulative frequency is greater than or equal to n by 2 for the first time. And we generally use this particular formula to calculate median for grouped frequency distribution or continuous series, where L is the lower boundary of the median class, n is total frequency, which is summation fi. This CF is stand for cumulative frequency of the class just prior to the median class. F is frequency of the median class, and H is width of the median class. So we will take example so that you will understand in a better way. Find the median for the following data. So you can see find paid and number of defaulters are there. So you can see the range 2040, 4060, 6080, 8000 and above 100. And for each range, number of defaulters are given 7, 22, 39, 39 and 13. So for this, we will calculate the less than cumulative frequency. So first value will be 7 as it is. 7 plus 22, 29. 7 plus 22 plus 39, 68. Similarly, 7 plus 22 plus 39 plus 39, 107. And last value will be sum of all these values. So this is how we prepare an additional row for less than cumulative frequency. Once you prepare this, we need to find out individual observations. So n is the sum of all frequencies. So take the sum of all these values. The answer will be 120. Then less than cumulative, then less than cumulative frequencies for 6080. So you can see there are 5 range 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. The middle one is 60 to 80. So middle is 60 to 80. And for that, the value for less than cumulative frequency is 68. So for this range, cumulative value is 68, which is less than n by 2, because n is 120, 120 by 2 is 60. So this 68 is less than 60. This we can observe here. And once we observe this, we can also find out remaining values. L is 60. So you can see L is 60. H is 20. So you can take the range, which is 20 or 40 minus 20, 20, 60 minus 40, 20, 80 minus 60, 20. So H is 20. F is 39. So we sort out, or we selected this particular class, that is 60 to 80. And for that, frequency is 39. And CF is 29. So you can see the CF is 29. Then we will put all these values in the equation. L is 60, N is 120, CF is 29, F is 39, and H is 20. And the answer is 75.897436. So this is how you can find out the median if such type of data will be given to you. But that needs additional practice so that you can calculate the median. Then again, every time we cannot rely on mean as well as a median. So in that case, mode come into the picture. So mode is defined to be the value that occurs with the greatest frequency. So when you plot a distribution like this, then you can see the values which are here, they will have maximum frequency as compared to the values which are on left or right. So just plot this such type of distribution, and when you plot this, whatever will be the maximum value, that will be considered as mode of the distribution. So again, you can see around this mode, all the remaining values are lying. So it is called as central tendency. And if no single value occurs most frequently, then all the values that occur at highest frequency called as mode or modal value. So just like this, many times what happen, you will not get a single value here. Instead of, there is a range, you can see frequencies, we can say. So that modal values can also be considered as a mode. Then we will take one example. Following frequency table gives the values obtained in 40 rolls of die. Find the sample mode. So you can see here, we are continuously rolling a die, and we observed 1 for 2 times, we observed 2 for 5 times, 3 for 9 times, 4 for 1 time, 5 for 5 time, and 6 for 3 time. Now in this case, the mode is 3. Why mode is 3? Because for 3, the frequency is maximum, that is 9, which is greater among all remaining values. So we can call the mode as 3. Now there are many situations in which I have already mentioned, where we cannot rely on mean or median. They will not give correct characteristics of the given data set. In such a situation, we need to rely on mode. For example, when we talk about common shoe size or ready-made garments, when we talk about ready-made clothes or shoe, In that case, we cannot say that the minimum shoe size is 10 centimeter and maximum, 1 centimeter, maximum is 10 centimeter, and average is in the middle, and you can use that shoe. No, you need to find out the mode value for a given range, and you need to rely on the same. So in such cases, you cannot go with a mean or median. Instead of, it is better to rely on the mode value. Okay. Okay, now we will see how to calculate the mode. So case 1, for qualitative data. When a data is qualitative, then what we need to do, we need to check something, that is the quality that occurs maximum frequency, with maximum frequency, and that is called as modal value. For example, good, better, best, these three options are there, and maximum people give option to best, then your modal value will be best. Case 2, for individual observations, the value that occurs maximum number of times, just like the previous example. So we will go there. Yes, here in this case, tree observes 9 times. So we can say that this is the mode of the data. Case 3, for discrete frequency distribution, the value of maximum frequency with maximum frequency is the mode. So that can be done here. Again, for grouped frequency distribution, which is in general in continuous series, in this case, mode is the point of maximum concentration. So we saw one example that if this is the distribution, then the middle values, so these will be the mode. Then there should be some mathematics. Only with graphical way we cannot calculate the mode. So for grouped frequency distribution, for this particular case, we will try to find out the values. So when grouped frequency distribution is there, we will use this formula to calculate mode, where L is lower boundary of the modal class, because it will have some range. For example, if this is the range distribution, then here you can see the maximum frequency, and when we take this is the lower limit, this is the lower limit, then Fm is the frequency of the modal value. So this is the frequency from the bottom line. F1 is the frequency of the pre-modal class. So before this, there is one more class. So for this particular class, you need to find out the frequency, that is F1. Again, frequency for post-modal class. So here we are interested, but after that also there is a class, right? So for this particular class, we need to find out the frequency. And H is the, again, as I told you, width of that class. So for a given class, there will be some width. So that width will be H. So put all these values in this formula, you will get mode. We will take one example. The following data relates to sales of 100 companies. Calculate the modal sales. So you can look at the table. Sales in lakhs, range is given 58 to 60 lakhs, 12 companies are there. 60 to 62 lakhs, 18 companies. 62 to 64, 25 companies. 64 to 66, 30. 66 to 68, 10. 68 to 73, 70 to 72, 2. So this is how the data is given to you, and you need to find out modal cell. So you can see the maximum frequency is 30 for the given data set. So you can see here for 64 to 66 the frequency is 30, and this is the class for the same, and we will be using this formula to calculate the mode. So we identified the range here. For this given data, L is 64, L is 64, FM is 30, so FM is 30, F1 is 25. So for lower class, the number of companies are 25. F2 is 10. For the post class, the number of companies are 10. And H is 2. That is the interval 64 minus, 66 minus 64. That is 2. That is the interval. When we take the difference between any two values for a given range, then it is H is 2. So put all these values in this equation, you will get answer as 64.4 lakhs. So what you need to do? You need to find out the class for which maximum observations are there. Once you find out that, you can find out L corresponding to the given class, FM30 the frequency for that class, F1 25 corresponding to the previous interval, F2 is 10, that is the frequency for post class, and the range or the width we can say for each interval, which is H, that is 2. Put all these values, you will get the solution, and you need to put the unit as well. So we can say that modal cells are 64.4, and generally this is between this range. So that should be the one of the indicator where will be the modal value. Generally it will be between these two values, as this is the maximum frequency. Now along with this, there are certain important measures, because say when we say mean value, for example, then 5 plus 5, when if we have two values 5 and 5, average is 5, 6 and 4, average is 5, 7 and 3, average is 5. So we cannot say that 5 average is the good indicator. So along with that, we need to come up with some more measures related to variability and dispersion, and they are standard deviation, standard error, and variance and range. So in this today's class, we discussed mean, mode, and median, and how to calculate with the help of different problems and formulae. Now in next class, we will see measurement of variability and dispersion. So we will stop here. If you have any question, the session is open for discussion. Yes, do you have any question?